What's up, guys? What's going on, man? I'm Paul. This is Falling Theology's daily devotional, man, and we are going through the book of John. And we have seen different reactions here recently in our studies of John, of the people, and how they respond to Jesus and his signs. And we finished the last one. We did the Greeks. We've seen every people group, I guess you would say, is the disciples, those who are following Jesus, the crowds, the everyday people. We've seen the Pharisees, the ruling elite of the Jewish religion, and then we saw the Greeks, people outside of the faith, who are all responsible to follow and respond to Jesus. And now, after that scene, it's kind of a transition scene. So I didn't talk about that in the last episode, about how when the Greeks came and had their response to the action, it's kind of a transition scene. And so we're going to see that transition today as we read through the scriptures. So if you haven't yet gone ahead and stopped the tape and check out John chapter 12, 23 through 24, we're going to see Jesus and his response to kind of what's going on here. This is Trust in Jesus Ministries. And if you haven't read it yet, go ahead and stop the tape, check it out, see what it has to say, come back. We'll answer the questions. And if you have already read it, then let's jump into it. What's going on? What's happening in these two verses? Well, Jesus answers them. It's funny that it says answers them, but he doesn't answer them. He makes a statement about something, but it is in response to the Greeks doing these things. It's kind of like a signal, a sign for Jesus that sadly the time has come. Actually, I mean, it's a mixed emotions right now. It's sadness, but it's also joy. But the time has come, finally. We've read throughout the entirety of the book so far, where it says, it was not yet his hour. His hour had not yet come. His hour had not yet come, since whenever Jesus had turned the water into wine when he was talking to his mother. And now finally, Jesus says these words. He says, the hour has come that the Son of Man must be glorified. That the Son of Man is to be glorified. This is the hour that's come. And what is this hour? Well, he kind of defines it in a parable. He says that unless a seed falls to the ground and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. And this is a signal of what's about to take place, of what it means for the Son of Man to be glorified. And what it means is two things. It means that he must die. The seed is a picture of his death. And we'll see further as we read and continue on. But the seed is his death. But not only that, but there is also the second part. And it says that he bears much fruit. And his bearing much fruit is his resurrection, which is the cause of the fruit bearing. Just like a tree, or just like this seed that goes into the ground and is buried, it raises out of the ground, and from its excursion, or from its coming up out of the ground and growing, fruit is born upon the tree. And so those are the two things that are the sign, or is the glorification of Jesus, his death and his resurrection. His death and his resurrection. This is what it means for the hour to come. This is what it means for him to be glorified. And so what does this say about God? It says that the path to glory is through pain. Is that our God is willing to suffer. He is willing to die, something that he should never in our imagination even have to happen to him. And so he's a humble God. He's a loving God. This displays his love for us. It displays his worthiness, his trustworthiness, because he would be willing to do these things for us. That's what it shows. That suffering is the path to his glory. Well, what does this say about man? Is that we have infinite worth. I mean, just think about the things that Jesus is going to have to suffer and do on our behalf. So that gives us intrinsic value. Now, intrinsic value comes because we are just creations of God. But so much more of that value is even placed upon us because of not that we were just creations of God, but the depth and the length and the height that God would go so that we might be with him. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. So how do we apply these truths to our lives, man? I think this is foundational. This is core. This is something that we should live by every day. Is find our worth in Jesus. Man, because in the end, everything's going to fade away, man. Everything is going to be destroyed. Everything's going to pass. People will fail. Life will break down. But in the end, our Savior is rock solid in his love for us. Is absolute in his desire for us. And so find our worth. Let us find our worth today. Find your worth in him. Find your worth in Jesus. Not in the things that you do. Not in the things that you can accomplish. But in the person who loves you. I appreciate you guys for listening. And I'll see you in the next episode.